If you grew up with a Gen X parent, you probably noticed something unique about them. They're not overly dramatic. They're not extremely strict. They're not overly soft either. They're somewhere in the middle, calm, practical, sometimes quiet, but incredibly strong. To understand Gen X parents, you have to understand the world that raised them. Number 1. They were the invisible generation. Gen X grew up during a time of rising divorce rates, economic uncertainty, and both parents often working long hours. Many were what people call latchkey kids, coming home to empty houses after school. That experience shaped them deeply. Psychologically, when a child learns early to cook simple meals, solve problems alone, handle boredom without screens, comfort themselves, they develop independence fast. So when Gen X parents tell their kids, "You'll be fine, figure it out," it's not coldness, it's projection. They survived by figuring things out, so they believe you can too. Number 2. They show love through action, not performance. Unlike some modern parenting styles that emphasize constant verbal affirmation, many Gen X parents weren't raised with open emotional conversations. Their parents, often baby boomers, valued toughness and discipline. So Gen X learned, don't complain too much, don't overshare emotions, handle your business. As parents, they care deeply, but they may show it differently. They'll wake up early to drive you somewhere, pay your school fees without complaining, fix your problems quietly, defend you fiercely if needed. They may not always say, "I'm proud of you," every day, but they're watching, and they're proud. Number 3. They are realists, not dream sellers. Gen X grew up during recessions, layoffs, and major economic shifts. They saw loyalty to companies not always rewarded. They saw hard work sometimes go unnoticed. So psychologically, they developed skepticism. That's why they tell their children, have a backup plan. Don't depend on one income. Be careful who you trust. It's not negativity. It's protection. They don't want you walking into the world naive. Number 4, they understand both worlds, before and after technology. Gen X is the last generation that remembers life fully before the internet. They played outside until streetlights came on. They memorized phone numbers. They knocked on doors instead of texting. But they also adapted to social media, smartphones, online careers. So their psychology is balanced. They appreciate connection, but they don't worship technology. That's why they might say, go outside. Put the phone down. To them, real life isn't on a screen. Number 5, protective. But not overprotective Gen X parents often don't hover. They won't always fight every battle for you. Instead, they believe in preparing you for battle. Psychologically, they see struggle as a teacher. They may let you face consequences, solve your own conflicts, experience small failures because they know small failures prevent big ones later. Their love says, I trust you to grow. Number 6, balanced between tough love and gentle guidance. They're not as authoritarian as previous generations, but they're not extremely permissive either. They'll listen, but they'll also expect respect. They may say, I understand how you feel, but that doesn't change the rule. That balance comes from their own experience of feeling unheard growing up. Many Gen X parents are trying to be more emotionally available than their parents, but still maintain structure. It's a quiet evolution of parenting. Number 7, strong work ethic is non-negotiable. Hard work is deeply wired into their psychology. They grew up hearing, nothing is handed to you. So when they push their children to study, to work, to stay disciplined, it's not pressure for ego. It's fear of instability. They want you secure, stable, capable. They don't want you depending on anyone. Number 8, they may struggle with emotional vulnerability. Here's the softer truth. Many Gen X parents were not taught how to express vulnerability safely, so they might avoid deep emotional talks, change subjects when feelings get heavy, apologize in actions instead of words. But if you watch closely, you'll notice something powerful. They show up. And psychologically, consistency builds trust more than dramatic speeches ever could. How this affects their children. Children of Gen X parents often grow up independent, emotionally aware, sometimes more expressive than their parents, resilient, self-driven. But sometimes they may also wish for more verbal affirmation, feel misunderstood emotionally, and that's where healing and communication come in. When both generations understand each other, the relationship becomes stronger. The deep truth about Gen X parents: they are not loud about their love. They are not flashy about their sacrifices, but they are steady. They are the generation that learned to survive quietly, adapted without complaining, carried responsibility early, and now they're raising children in a world far more complex than the one they grew up in. They may not always get it perfect, but they're trying. And most of the time, they're trying harder than they show.